Monday, June 1st. This is news and commentary from America's Heartland. You're watching Heartlander News. Well, hey there, and welcome in to another edition of Heartlander News. I'm Chris Stigall. This stupid book tour the former First Lady is on, I can't imagine she's selling any books, but it's worth walking through this just to see it. Continuing with this theme of gaslighting and lie, even after we've seen all of these lies come crumbling. This woman has written a book full of them, and she's going on a speaking engagement tour and a book sales tour, continuing to peddle this stuff. And I don't know who the audience is. Even people who voted for Joe Biden, even people who are Democrats and supportive. There's nothing about any of this revisionist history that is worth hearing. It's only worth mockery and laughter, which is why we're going to play it. Give me 189 here. Actually, let's start with 188 if we could here, Aaron. I apologize for that. Dr. Jill, being asked about this business of pardoning Hunter, that Joe Biden said he would never pardon his son Hunter, because remember, James Comey said, if you accept a pardon, it's an admission of guilt. Well, Joe Biden did issue a pardon for his son, and Hunter did accept it, so we know that now. Anyway, here we go.
President Biden had said that he would never pardon his son.
He did.
And then he pardoned him. Did you urge the president to think again about that?
Well, you know, Joe said in the beginning, I won't pardon Hunter. I won't pardon Hunter. And then
And did you say?
and then
Don't
the
say that?
Justice Department changed. And I think that the process was not fair to Hunter.
President Biden had said.
Yeah, so the process wasn't fair. The leadership at DOJ had changed, and now it wasn't fair, meaning he was going to be punished. This is worth hearing. As much as it grates on me, it's worth hearing. Give me 189 here. Talking about Kamala Harris and the eventual baton handoff between Joe Biden and Kamala Harris that was totally forced. The Bidens didn't intend to go anywhere. We all know that's true. Jill Biden famously hated Kamala Harris, by the way. So that's what makes this particular portion of the conversation hilarious.
So he decided that he was going to drop out.
That's right.
It was Sunday, July 21st, 2024. Before your husband made the announcement, he called Vice President Harris
Yes.
to tell her what he had decided. And you said almost as soon as he gave her the news, she demanded that he endorse her right away. And I mean, did you think something was off about that?
You know, I'm sure she thought about it. You know, it wasn't like a call out of the blue. I'm sure with everything happening at that time, it had to cross her mind. So I think that's.
But when you said it was back and forth because she wanted him to endorse her at the same time he announced that he was dropping out, and he wanted to just make the announcement of the dropout first, right?
Oh, yeah.
And
sure.
you said you even walked out of the room
I did.
because it got too tense, maybe?
Well, it was just, I'm telling you, it was so hard. I mean, this is what Joe had worked for all his life. He loved being a statesman. He loved the job of helping the American people, and to give it up. I mean, Rita, he did it for over 50 years of his life. That's a long time. And so at some point when all of this is going on, it gets a little overwhelming. And yes, I had to walk out.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So this is an interesting peek into the minds of people who hold on to positions of power. It's an admission they don't want to give it up. What she's saying here, and as we all understand, for 50 years, Joe Biden hasn't done anything that hasn't depended on his income being from the taxpayer. Joe Biden does not know. Jill Biden does not know. These people do not know what it is to go out and just work in the private sector. They like the fame and the trappings of office. They like being on TV. They like being As Rush Limbaugh says, Hollywood for ugly people. They like the fame of Washington. They like the money of Washington. They like being in those circles, and they can't imagine going to some normal life where people go out and live amongst real people and do real jobs and aren't famous, volunteer their time and go to worship and, fraternize with real people. Oof. Can you imagine that? I mean, it's been 50 years, Rita. How tough that would be. We've lived in this bubble for 50 years. That's tough to give up. And I'm sure Kamala Harris did get furious. All right, old man, we've basically pinned your arm behind your back and said, give it up. Say uncle. And he finally says uncle, and they let his arm go. And they said, all right, now you're going to come out and you're going to say you're stepping down and you're going to endorse me. And he says, I'm not going to endorse you. Of course she's mad. The Bidens didn't want to play ball. All of it. See, folks, you may be saying to yourself, why are you relitigating this? Because the theme of this morning's entire show is gaslighting and revisionist history, and everything we knew was real, you and I were told was not real and was not happening. Shut up, sit there, and take it. Here's more. 190, as Jill Biden says she just couldn't believe that her old pal and friend, wink, Kamala Harris didn't do better in the election.
You went all out to get Vice President Harris elected.
Oh, all out. I was out on the trail I think every single day. I traveled the entire country. And that the night, the election night, I was certain she was going to win.
You were.
The excitement for her and the crowds and how people rallied around her. And I truly felt that she was going to win. I was shocked she didn't win because I think she would be a good president. And I don't know. I went to bed. I couldn't believe that she had lost. I couldn't believe it.
Aaron, do you believe that? I'm sorry. I know I can't get enough of this. I enjoy it a lot. Do you believe a word that woman just said?
No, not at all. I hadn't seen that particular clip until just now, and I started laughing.
Yeah, it's just, she hates her guts, don't you? Given what Jill Biden just said about how painful it was to give up 50 years of office, that she would sit there and say, oh, her heart ached.
Yeah.
For Kamala Harris not winning. She just couldn't believe it. You know that's not true. Oh, so funny. All right. One more, just because it's important. 191, the revisionist history of the Afghanistan withdrawal. They got 13 of our service personnel killed at Abbey Gate, among other things. Take a listen.
You talked about many of your husband's successes, the Build Back Better, passing the first major gun legislation in 30 years. You also say, when Joe and I moved into the White House in January 2021, it felt as though we had the wind at our back. And then within a few months, the wind shifted. There were lots of things that happened in that time. There was Afghanistan, Russia's invasion of Ukraine. And why do you think it shifted?
Because of the reasons you just named.
Also, was there a shift in Congress, do you think?
Oh my gosh, yes. We had, a Republican Congress. And, it was, let's just say, when Joe started in politics, all during his Senate years and even some into the vice presidency, Republicans and Democrats respected one another. Yes, they had differences of opinion, but they never let it get personal. There were never personal attacks on one another. And I think that's a big change of, what we see today, where it's so personal and so.
Okay. Yeah. I don't need any more. I don't even want any more. It's very difficult here again to sit and watch this. Everything changed. He was popular and pure and clean as the wind-driven snow, but those rascally Republicans in Congress, meaning the people that you voted for, duly elected representatives in Congress, if it weren't for them, if we had total control, says Jill, and if Joe Biden hadn't forced and rushed a botched withdrawal out of Afghanistan, and then, of course, Russia invades Ukraine, and what's Joe Biden's official position on that? As much as it takes, as long as it takes, which was never a strategy. As much as it takes, as long as it takes, just stand with Ukraine. We know that Ukraine, during his tenure with Barack Obama and his son running over there and bagging cash, Ukraine wildly corrupt. And so for Joe Biden to continue to say, let's just keep shoveling money into Ukraine. Again, all of these things they tell themselves still to this day, and they write their little books and they go on tour. It's important to remember recent history, where we were with those stories then, what we know is true today, and what they still tell themselves and tell you and look you straight in the eye and say, versus what we know is real. The revolution, the tearing down of this country, I say again, depends on deceit and then conformity. Buy into the lie and continue to sell the lie with a smile.